We have a little problem that we have to talk about with some of the things that have gone on today with Ape and AMC that I don't think a lot of people are really talking about right now, and I think are very, very, very important to kind of giving us an understanding of what actually is going on with Ape AMC, what could potentially happen in the future, because the way I see it right now, we are really walking kind of a fine line on this going potentially very well, or us running into some very significant issues here. Now, I'm trying to be completely honest with you guys of about exactly what I see right now with AMC and Ape, because the way that this has been done today, I think has been very, very, very different than the way I think a lot of us were expecting this to play out. We're going to break down everything in the most simple way that I possibly can to make sure that everybody fully understands exactly what is going on here. Now, towards the end of the video, we're actually going to go over something that could be very, very bullish for the company fundamentally going forward. But again, guys, before we get into all of this information, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who do want to learn. So let's kind of get right into it here and kind of go through some of the things that have happened today. Now, one, we have AMC right here on the 4-hour time frame, and you can see that it is now trading at $11. The first thing that we need to think about here is, yes, the Ape dividend has been released. Now, again, we did all expect that we were going to see a little bit of a kind of a pullback in AMC share price with this dividend actually being released. We saw it on the charts. We were screaming this from the rooftops that we were most likely going to see AMC run into this dividend release and then have it start to come back down after this dividend actually gets paid out or given to a lot of shareholders. Now, AMC right now at the current time that I'm recording this, down 39%. The common shares are down 39%, and it's currently trading at around $10.98. Now, Ape over here is trading at about $6.41. Now, when you combine these two on TradingView, you see AMC plus Ape is about $17.39. It's 1 for 1. You can add them. And at the close of Friday, let's throw this on the daily time frame here so we can kind of take a look at this. At the close, we can see that AMC closed on Friday at $18.02. So when we look at this right here, $18.02 compared to $17.37, $17.35, what we're seeing currently on the charts right now, it doesn't necessarily seem all that bad. But there's something very strange that has happened here that we need to all understand, and it has to do with value. So when we're thinking about what we had on AMC previously, all of our equity and value was in one place, AMC common shares. They were no longer dilutable. Again, AMC had like 46 or 47,000 shares that they could then sell off into the open market if they needed to. That wasn't really going to make a difference, but today it's a little bit different. What we're looking at today is a 39% decrease in AMC's common stock, and we've kind of been forked. We now have AMC's common shares in the AMC preferred equity, the Ape dividend. But the way that you have to think about this is that retail investors' equity in AMC, remember, used to only be in AMC, but about 40% of this right here, 39%, has now been moved into Ape. Now, we also have to think about what the exact and main purpose of Ape actually is. There's been a lot of theories out there, but at the end of the day, they are going to use Ape to dilute. They are going to use Ape to raise more money. Now, it may not be dilutive of AMC's common shares, but the problem here now is it doesn't necessarily matter if they're going to be diluting AMC's common shares any further, because your equity and value has been moved from AMC into now two things, AMC and Ape. So this is going to bring us back to those normal supply and demand metrics here. When we're thinking about what's going on with Ape here, technically the market is going to decide whatever it's worth. Now, with the narrative that we've been kind of operating under for like the last 2 years, we have buy and hold, no selling. So if Ape were to come out at a lower price, then we were to end up see not a lot of selling pressure come in, a lot of buy orders come in. It's very possible that eventually we could have gotten up to these numbers, this 626, this 6 range, without seeing that massive drawdown in actual AMC common shares. And this is where that fine line that I was talking about a little bit earlier in this video, right towards the beginning, comes from. If Ape is not able to hold up here, that 40% a sort of value or equity position that's actually been moved over actually starts to come down even more. So you've moved it over into another place. And if AMC is not able to fully capitalize on the value of Ape right now by raising a bunch of money and Ape starts to sell off, then we run into the issue of, well, they can't even really raise enough money through Ape. So then we've moved our value over. You can't necessarily raise enough money. And then the whole thing was kind of a nothing burger. Now, on the other side, though, we do have to think about both sides here, the positive and negative. Again, I think the way that this is done or was done today does put us in a very interesting position. And it really is going to hinge on where Ape can go in the future, not even necessarily AMC. Because when you think about that value position that has then been moved, well, AMC's common shares are still not able to be diluted, but Ape's are. And you need AMC at this point to be able to raise as much money as they possibly can to be able to pay off that debt, because that's what the purpose of Ape actually is. So kind of thinking about this whole thing here and what could happen towards a more bullish outlook is that Ape does end up significantly increasing in price, which would be great to see. You could then see AMC start raising a bunch of money, paying off debt, and then once we kind of get into what we're about to talk about with Cineworld right here, let me just pull this up really quickly, then they're able to maybe acquire some more high-performing movie theaters here, and then increase their business even further. So that's kind of the more bullish side of this, but you have to think about where the value has actually gone and what they're able to do with this at this current time. We're walking a fine line here, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are really excited about what's been done with Ape right now. I'm kind of on the other side of that thinking, well, AMC really needs to execute on this right now, or we could end up seeing some issues with, one, AMC's common shares as they start to stay down at these lower levels, and if Ape starts to come down even further, well, that's going to be a big issue as well. Now, we don't know exactly what's going to happen here. I'm just pointing out to you guys that you need to understand exactly what has happened and where your equity and your value is actually getting derived from, and where it's actually gone over these last 24 hours. Now, when we're looking at this right here, AMC, again, still has a lot of cash on their balance sheet right now, even without raising a bunch more money from diluting Ape. Cineworld confirms it is considering bankruptcy. Cineworld has confirmed that it is struggling or is considered filing bankruptcy in the U.S. as the cinema chain continues to struggle with $5 billion worth of debt. But the company, which also owns the Picture House chain in the UK, insisted its cinemas remain open for business and that there will be no significant impact on jobs. Cineworld employs more than 28,000 people globally. Now, AMC, again, after this came out, did end up making a statement about this. They essentially said, yes, Cineworld is not having a great time right now in terms of their business, but we're completely fine. We're sufficiently capitalized. Q3 might be a little bit slower, but as we get into Q4 of this year, the movie slate, and then going into 2023, things are still looking relatively good. Now, looking at this right here, you have to think about what AMC has done recently in the past, with kind of what they've been doing, with their theater acquisition strategy. When AMC is going out and purchasing new theaters, not only are they purchasing theaters in super high performing locations, but they're also closing down their own theaters that are not as high performing. So there's a little bit of a switch. They're closing down theaters that are not as high performing, and when they do that, they're going to decrease some of their expenses, and when they buy these other theaters that are most likely going to have relatively similar expenses to operate these different movie theaters in different locations, well, their revenue numbers are going to be higher. So this is something that we could definitely see over the next 6, 8, 12 months. But again, with the situation that has kind of developed with Ape today, again, like I've been saying, over the past 6 to 8 months, we could be here for a while. There are a lot of things that could potentially happen. In this Ape situation right now needs to be really, really looked at carefully, so that people fully understand exactly where we are going, in essentially what we've gotten ourselves into here, in what the positive and negative sides of this are. So guys, that is going to wrap up this video on AMC. If you guys did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who do want to learn. And if you guys do want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a good evening. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.